Hey everyone, it's Monica from My Big Camera. If you're new to our channel, we create helpful tutorials on portrait photography, so consider subscribing if you're interested in that sort of thing. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to use a digital backdrop. Digital backdrops have become more popular in recent years as it gives your sessions more variety and allows you to offer options to your client that you normally wouldn't be able to do, like props that you don't own or backgrounds that you don't own. I'll be using our most popular digital backdrop for this demo so that people that purchase this backdrop in our Etsy shop will have a little guide that they can use to help them use the backdrop more successfully. But the tips that I'll be sharing can be applied to any digital backdrop that you may have already purchased. And if you're interested in purchasing this backdrop, I'll leave the link down in the description for you. Okay, so let's get into the video. This is what my final image looks like. If you don't have a moon prop or a similar backlit setup, this would be a difficult shot to achieve, so having the option to purchase a digital backdrop like this is a really great alternative. You may be surprised how easy it can actually be to use a digital backdrop as long as you set up properly for it, and if you follow some of the other tips that I give in this video. You can see the digital backdrop image that I will be using. And this is the image that I took of my daughter that I will be compositing into the moon backdrop. So the main thing to remember to make your life a whole lot easier is to always try to shoot for the digital backdrop that you have in mind. What that means is that you should study the lighting and try to mimic a similar lighting setup. You need to look for the light, the direction that it's coming from, and the shadows in order to mimic the proper lighting setup. If you try to Photoshop an image into a backdrop where the lighting is very different, no matter how hard you try to edit it, it probably will never ever look real. So in this image, you can see that it is fully backlit. In order to successfully be able to use this backdrop, you need to photograph the baby backlit as well. Otherwise, it just won't look real. You can see that the background is completely white, and you can see that the front of the moon here is in shadow, which means that there is no light in front of the moon prop except for maybe a reflector. You can see the light in the back of the moon here too, which indicates that the light is coming from behind the moon. Another thing to keep in mind, which will also make things so much easier for you to edit, is to photograph the baby on a similar colored and textured layer to what is in the backdrop image. The other thing to keep in mind is the pose. You can see that the moon is very curved, so to use this backdrop successfully, you should pose the baby in a bum up position and try to curve the baby's head and bum up as much as you can. This is the image that I took of my daughter. I've already done some basic edits to the image, like skin smoothing and a little bit of sharpening. She is 6 months old in this photo, so she's not as flexible or curly like a newborn typically is. So as much as I tried, I could not bring her feet underneath her very well, and I couldn't lift her bum up or feet as much as I would like. If at all possible, try to prop the bum and head up as much as you can so that they have a nice curve in their back. Then I basically just photographed her on our beanbag, and I'm using a blush pink knitted layer that's a similar color to the one in the backdrop image. And then I have my softbox with a white sheet over it directly behind the beanbag and my big reflector in front. If I was to do this again, I would probably have my softbox a bit further back to lessen the amount of light spill on her back. But in any case, this would be the basic setup that you would want to use for this particular backdrop. The same tips apply for other types of backdrops, even if the lighting is different. Just study the background image for the direction of the light and where the shadows are, and try to mimic that same setup. Then use a similar colored and textured layer under the baby. You can then usually pose baby just on the beanbag or in a simple bucket or bowl, depending on what type of pose you're going for and what type of prop is in the background image. To select her, I would normally use the quick selection tool to select just her out of a busier background. But since the image is backlit, I'm just going to use the lasso tool because honestly it's just a lot quicker. I'm just making a very rough selection of her, and then I'm going to go up to Edit and then copy. Then I'm going to select the backdrop image and then go up to edit and then paste. So obviously we're going to need to do two things first to make this image look more real. We're going to need to scale the baby down to a size that looks appropriate to the prop. This can be hard to do, but just try to not make baby look too small or too large for the prop. A little bit of a scale difference you probably won't notice, but if baby is way too small for the prop, it won't look real. The other thing is that the color temperature of the baby image is different from the backdrop image. So we can either cool down the baby to match the backdrop or warm up the backdrop tone to match the baby. Since I tend to like warmer images, I'm going to warm up the backdrop image to match the baby better. So first I'm going to adjust the scale. To do that, I'm going to go up to the edit menu, then transform, and then scale. Then just drag the corners of the image down until you're satisfied with the scale of the baby. I'm also going to rotate the baby a bit by going to Edit, Transform, then Rotate. Then maybe adjust the scale a little bit more until I'm happy with it. Now I'm going to adjust the color temperature of the backdrop image. To do that, I'm going to select the background layer, then go up to the Filters menu, select Camera Raw Filter, and then I'm just going to warm up the color temperature a bit. And click OK. Now I'm going to create a mask for the baby layer by clicking on the Create Mask icon down here. You can see it added the mask to the layer over here, but I need to switch the color of the mask to black in order to be able to mask off areas that I don't want showing in the final image. So to do that, I'm going to go over here to the color palette and click the arrow in between the black and white color swatches to switch them so the black layer is my foreground layer. Then I'm going to select the brush tool and go over to my brush tool menu to make sure that my brush hardness is set to 0%. So that my brush is super soft. The size of the brush doesn't matter since we're going to change the size as we go. Now I'm going to zoom in at 100% and just start masking off areas around the baby. I'm not going to go right around the baby where the layer is just yet. I'm just sort of doing a rough pass here. Now the reason that we try to use a similar layer to the backdrop image is because we're going to blend the two layers together at the points where baby's body is touching the layer. That way, we preserve the existing shadows under the baby's body, and baby doesn't end up looking like it's cut out or like it's just floating there, which is, I think, the main thing that most photographers actually struggle with when using digital backdrops. So in order to blend the layers around baby's body, I'm going to reduce my brush opacity to 25% and then carefully go around the baby, clicking again to layer the brush if necessary. We can see how the two layers sort of blend together right under baby, but you can still see the shadows under baby so it doesn't look like it's just floating on top of the layer. Then I just keep doing the same thing, flipping back and forth from using my brush at 100% opacity and my brush at 25% opacity until the mask looks good to me and I'm happy with it. I'll sometimes rotate the baby a bit more or adjust the scale basically until I'm satisfied. So now I'm just going to speed up this part of the video since it's pretty boring just watching me do this, but in the end you get a really nice, believable image that a normal person looking at most likely won't be able to tell that it's a digital composite image. And most photographers probably won't be able to tell either, unless they're really, really observant. So this is the final image. A beautiful dreamy setup that any parent would fall in love with, which I photographed just with the baby on a beanbag. So hopefully this inspired you to play around with some digital backdrop images and add some variety to your workflow. If you really like certain setups that you've done, you can even apply these same tactics to your own setups and basically just photograph your own setups so that you can use them as digital backdrops in the future. That's it. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, please help support our channel by giving the video a big thumbs up and maybe leave us a comment down below, and we'll try our best to answer any questions that you might still have. We love to hear from our communities, so feel free to leave us a comment. We read every single one and we answer every single comment. If you'd like to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you are notified the next time we release a new video. We try to upload every week, but right now it's a bit sporadic since we do have a 7-month-old baby, and we are very busy in our photography business too, so the best way to make sure you don't miss a video is to hit that notification bell. I will also link our editing playlist up in the cards in case you want to check out our other editing tutorials. And if you're interested in downloading our free actions for editing newborns and portraits, the download link is also in the description below. We're on Instagram now too. Follow us there if you'd like. Bye for now, and remember, keep creating.